Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today I want to cut to the chase. Today I want to talk about the trials and ways to make the trials super simple and super easy. I get a lot of questions about the trials or Sanctum, and a lot of people say to me, hey man, they're really rough, they're really tough, you do them all day, what's your trick? How do you make currency doing it? How do I make it easier? What's going on? And today we're going to do that. Staring before you is a trial altar or a relic altar, and inside that relic also are a bunch of items, and you'll notice there's a wide variety of them all over my screen. These are relics. These relics are the absolute bread and butter of everything that you need to do Sanctum or the trial. These will make your run super simple, and these relics come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Now you'll notice you have seals, tapestry, vases, incense, there's coffers, they're big giant squares, and you're gonna say to me, hey man, these are really confusing. What's the point? Well, these relics, when you design them or when you use them in a Tetris format, you can get all kinds of different benefits and bonuses that make your run a lot easier. The first time that you come down here into the trial, or the first time Balbala gives you this token to come down here, your relic altar is not going to be anywhere near as open as mine is right now. As you progress through the floors and you kill the different bosses or you get a carry, your relic altar will open up and you will have a lot of room to play more advanced Tetris. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to find different modifiers that you like on these relics, and you're going to put, where you're just going to put them inside the relic altar here in a way that makes sense. For me right now, you can see currently I have quantity of relics, quantity of relics, quantity of relics, quantity of relics, quantity of relics and defenses, quantity of relics. And you see I rearrange them in a way that makes life good for me. Originally, when I first started doing the trials, I could not run quantity of relics. That was just not a thing. Trials were way too hard. I didn't understand how to do them. They were really confusing. And there are just different relics that we can do to make trials a little bit easier, such as rare monsters take more damage, bosses take more damage, honor resistance. And these are different things that we can do. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about two major strategies that I do to help my runs become super simple. And then we'll talk about other ways that you can make this even easier. I do two very important strategies. The first strategy that I like to do is quantity of relics dropped. This says that the more quantity of relics drop, the more of these relics I'll see throughout the run. Now, if you get to 100%, the last guy should in theory drop 2 relics. If you get to 180% and you get the right boon, he'll drop 3 up to 4 unique relics. Farming quantity of relics is one of the best ways to try to get the Temporalis relic or the last flame relic. This relic, as you can see, drops only in level 80 of these events. So when you run these Dijin Baras, they have to be area level 80. They have to have 4 trials, which level 80s will always have 4 trials. And you go through the event and you're going to find a ton of different relics. And we'll see some of them are pricey and some of them are cheap. But your goal with this strategy is to get to the end boss with as much quantity of relics found. And your goal is to be able to get to the end boss and kill him without issue. Now, currently I have 177% quantity of relics, or like 170%. There's a boon that I can get that allow me to increase the value of the relics that I have. So I have 170%. That boon gives me an extra 30%. That puts me at 51 plus 170 gives me 221. And this gives me that beautiful chance to get 4 unique relics from the run, making life really smooth. Now, when I'm not doing this altar strategy, I'm going to rearrange these and I'm going to be doing another strategy. We just make some room really quick. I'm going to be doing another strategy that I really enjoy, and that one is the merchant strategy. These vases right here, or these amphora relics right here, allow me to have additional options from the merchant, which means that when I get to Balbala, I get 2 additional looks at items, and these are reduced by 40%. Now, knowing that these items are reduced by 40% is really important, because if I get enough reduced cost of merchants, in my case, I have 40%. I get to the merchant. She has a ton of options to buy. She occasionally offers me a boon to minus her cost by 50%, puts everything at 90%. Everything becomes 10, 15, 20 water, super cheap, super simple. And then because I have so many options at the merchant, I'll eventually find that boon I just mentioned that gives me another 30% on top of that, giving me a grand total of 117% reduced cost, making the merchant completely zero across the board. This is actually my favorite strategy to run inside of Sanctum or inside the trial because it just lets me turn my brain off. So the reason I do this strategy is because I like to farm. I like to farm these Desperate Alliance vases. So I play Tetris with these plus this and do this farm. When I'm out of vases, I go back to doing this farm. And this is what I mean about the whole Tetris thing. So you see here, we take these out, we start putting these in. I take this one out and then this one out and then this one out, and I put this one in and then this one in, and I take this out and I take this out, and I go to put this one in, I put this one here, and then I gotta put this one here. But now things change if I like do this, and I can only put this like here, and if I do this, I have no room. So like you see, this is where the whole Tetris thing comes into play. And you can set these up to do these in a wide variety of ways. Now, some of these strategies get completely bricked right away. So like this strategy will get bricked right away if I get the merchant has one additional option or one option only, and then I'm completely cooked and everything goes to heck and we just feel really bad. Now, these strategies are really good because, like I said, I run this strategy here for quantity of relics personally when I run out of vases. And when I have vases, I like to do this because it makes my life super simple and I just don't have to think. Now you see I'm trying to put these all back in. It becomes this little game of Tetris again where I've got to remember where they all go. And then once I remember where they all go, we're cruising again. And then I think this goes here, this goes there, this goes there. Now, this farming strategy in itself has a lot of really nifty, cool things that you can do. And I know somebody's gonna be like, oh my God, I can't do that. It's too hard, yada, yada, yada. And I know Sanctum's hard. I know it's a pain. I know there's a lot going on. But when I first started doing this on my monk, was not able to do these high-end strategies. These were actually really, really, really rough. And doing strategies like this was actually pretty difficult. When I first started to do these trials, I was slow. Mobs hit me, mobs hurt. Mobs were just not my friends, and I just kind of used relics that I found on the ground because I wasn't really sure what to start with, how to do it, where to go, what to begin with, and all these different things that made life, really interesting and confusing. So eventually I started doing some research on the different relics and the different combination of relics, and I started talking to other people about things that I can do. And I found out right away that honor resistance is one of the few things that you can do inside of Sanctum or inside the trials that makes life super simple. If you get to 75% honor resistance, you take an absolute ridiculously less amount of damage because you have resistances to all the damage types inside of the Sanctum or inside of the trial. So what I started doing was I started testing. I started taking monsters take increased damage and honor resistance. Then I went to rare monsters take additional damage and honor resistance. And then I went even as far as when I realized I couldn't kill bosses, you can get bosses take additional damage and honor resistance, getting you to 75% and making bosses take up to like 100% increased damage. Other really cool things that you can note too is there's movement speed that you can get. So you can get movement speed and quantity of relics. Now, I know somebody's gonna be like, how impactful can that movement speed be? There's no shot that that movement speed is crazy impactful. And let me show you. Let me actually give you guys an understanding of how impactful this movement speed is. Now you can see here right away, I'm not even going to blink, but look at how fast we are booking it and cruising it. Now we're at 54% movement speed, not including all of the extra from the relics that we have, plus our boots, and you see we are just cooking and cruising. Now, if you're playing a Queen of the Forest build, or you're playing any kind of build like a Pathfinder or anything that has good movement speed, your movement speed does indeed tack on with this movement speed, and you can do things like take quantity of relics plus movement speed and do these high-end strategies. And we're gonna show you, we're gonna pull up the trade site in a second, we're gonna look at all the different combinations of relics that you can buy, but you see right away, 15 seconds, 16 seconds, we're in this room, we're out of this room, we get our sacred water and we move on. You see in this strategy, we have 40% increased movement speed. We have rare monsters take 47% increased damage. Oh, my head's in the way. You see we have movement speed, 40%, rare monsters take 40%, 66 more quantity of relics, 85 honor resistance, and we can just start doing what we're doing. And, we have our 54% movement speed plus our 40% there. We have a little bit of movement speed there. So we're just, you know, we're cruising. We're literally cruising. Now let's get out of here and take a look at the other thing that we can be doing. So let's put this away before I lose it. Let's put these away before I lose them. You can see I actually have them like sectioned off so I don't lose them, because I would feel really bad if I lose these, because I spent a lot of time putting these together. We're gonna put this down here, this over here, this over here, and then let's go get a different set of relics and look at something else that you could do to make your life a lot easier. So let's reset this, and no big deal at all. Let's put another one in, and let's take out these relics. Now, something else that you could do that's really, really interesting that I don't think a lot of people realize is, if you don't want to use movement speed, you can do this right here, where you get dodge, roll, distance, and movement speed. So you see here, we have dodge, roll, distance, and movement speed, dodge, roll, distance, and movement speed, dodge, roll, distance, and movement speed, dodge, roll, distance, and movement speed. And then I would fill the rest with movement speed and quantity of relics. So I put one there, one there, one there, and one there, and we would just be off to the races. The reason I'm not putting everything there is I want to showcase the dodge roll distance. Dodge roll inside of Sanctum is going to be one of your best friends and biggest things that you can do. You can see just right there, look how far we are dodge rolling. And this isn't even without a full set of relics. I am able to dodge roll and move at the speed of light throughout this room and throughout this Sanctum without any problems. The other something really cool to note about dodge roll is dodge roll gives you a small iframe at the start of the roll. So if you're doing the Sanctum trial, or you're going through there and you eventually get to the room, I'm hoping that we can get a gauntlet room after this. This is why I'm clearing this. If you can get yourself to a gauntlet room, you'll be able to see right away that the fire is no big deal. We can actually just kind of skip through the fire. Now, if there's not fire after this, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna skip ahead. There'll be a little cut. We'll go to the next room, but hopefully there is a gauntlet room right after here so that we could show you guys just how impactful dodge roll is. And you can see I'm just dodge rolling to everything just like I would be blinking, and the movement speed is really, really good. Right there, perfect. There's a gauntlet room right there. So let's just actually showcase this. So we come into this room and we just start dodge rolling right through this room. We get to the rare, we kill the rare, and then we just start dodge rolling again, and we just have this fantastic, absolutely fantastic movement speed. Whoops. Oh, he blinked. He blinked. It's an accident, I swear. But you see, we have this fantastic movement speed while we go through it. And like I said, this isn't even with all of the dodge roll distance and movement speed that we can get. We can really crank this up so much higher. And you'll see now we're going to go into the gauntlet room, and you're going to see right away it's not going to be a problem at all. We just roll past all the mobs, and then we roll right through all... Oh, I got hit. We just roll right through all of the fire. And as soon as that first ignite wears off on us, we'll have no problems whatsoever. And we're just able to just constantly roll through this fire. You'll get the hang of the timing on it, but you could just roll right through the fire and not have anything to worry about. The same thing goes if we find the little fireball relic ones. So if we find the ones that shoot the little fireballs, the exact same thing happens there. You're able to just roll right through everything. Nothing becomes a problem at all. And you can see you can actually make such insane distance and clear time just going through the trial just like this, and it makes your life a lot easier. A lot of people say to me, my trial takes 30, 40, 50 minutes. I don't know what to do. This is ridiculous. How do you do this so fast? And this is the trick to going fast. I did things like this on my monk. I would literally use relics like this to blast right through the trial and through the Sanctum and just go with the speed of light. The biggest thing that you can do with the Sanctum and the trial is to learn the different layouts, learn the different rooms, learn where things are, and just kind of give yourself the best opportunity to maximize where you want to go. Now, I do have for you guys, I did put this together. I'll include a link for you down below. I do have a trade link. This trade link will actually indeed give you all the different good options that I think is really relevant. So things that are really good here, if you're a defense-based character like myself with CI, increased defenses will increase your energy shield to the absolute moon, giving you more honor to start. You'll notice right away that I use quantity of relics plus defense, and those are really good combinations. Bosses take increased damage. This one's actually really cool, and I suggest this one a lot to players. You can have relics. you can have relics that will increase the boss damage by an absolute ton. And you can see going through these, you know, bosses take 19 damage, bosses take 15 damage. And if I click this, I can see bosses take 30% increased damage. This one's really good too. Bosses take 30% increased damage, reduce merchant costs. That one's crazy. Bosses take increased damage. Bosses take increased damage in honor resistance. And you can really play around with these different combinations and really see one that suits your needs. You can also do this where you type the little tilde sanctum thing, tilde squiggly thing, type the word sanctum, and you'll actually be able to see a lot of different options, some from PoE 1, some from PoE 2. And you'll be able to like search through all the different options and see if there's anything else that suits the needs of you. Now, like I said, bosses take increased damage is really, really, really good. And then I can check different things. I really like for newer players, bosses take increased damage and honor resistance. I really like this a lot. We click this to see our max. We see honor resistance goes up to 40%. We come over here, we type 40, and then we can kind of start taking a look at how much resistance is that we can get. We see that these relics become insanely pricey very fast. So maybe we don't want to take 40% honor resistance and we want to take 30% honor resistance and 25% boss damage. And we see just the difference here. I can get 30% honor resistance and 29 boss damage. And if I get 3 of these, I have the 75%. My bosses will take 90% increased damage roughly. And, you know, all depends within budget. And I can just blast through the sanctum without any problems. Other things too, like I had mentioned, merchant reduced theory. This says increase merchant prices, but if I go over here and I type -10, you'll see it's reduced. And if I like come over here and remove this and I type and I go over here, you can see I can just sort by the different prices. But even these become insanely expensive and very, very, very impactful as well, where you too can just check out different options. You can even get as much as merchant has 3 additional choices and just use, you know, you can just buy what you want and just kind of go into town. Like these are 10 divs each, 11 divs each, 12 divs. These are expensive. And there's all kinds of different options. So you can get dodge roll and movement speed, and we can check it out here. We can see that movement speed goes as high as 10%. So I can start searching 10%, and dodge roll distance goes as high as 0.7%. Just now imagine using your, you know, think about the Tetris thing. Just imagine having 5 of these and 4 of these at, you know, 90% movement speed, and dodge roll distance would be the whole screen. And these are cheap. These are like, well, I guess they're not super cheap and there's not a whole lot of them available, but so you could like pretty much just set your price. But these would be insane. And you could start playing around with the different numbers and the different things and see how much, you know, see how many people have. But a lot of people just don't realize these exist and that these combinations exist, where I can pick these up for 150x each. And I can just zoom through the entire event and no problem at all. And then you can mess around. You can see if there are different combinations that fit and suit. And you'll see like this combination doesn't exist. Or you could do like this and you see that that doesn't exist. Or you can check it out like this and see this doesn't exist. Or you can take boss damage and merchant choices. And you'll start to realize which kind of vases have, or is it bosses take and merchant prices? Is that what it is? It's bosses take and merchant prices. And you can start messing around and seeing what different types of things these relics and vases have. And you could start to find ones that really suit your needs, like merchant choices, honor resistance. And you can just really play around with these. Combinations that I really recommend: bosses take increased damage with honor resistance, movement speed and dodge roll, movement speed and quantity of relics. And one of my secret favorites that I wasn't going to talk about, but I'm going to do it, is traps deal increased damage. Yes, I know, increased, but if you search, it's actually only reduced, and you can get these as high as 15%. And this is actually my favorite combination of relics, because if I get enough trap damage reduction, traps deal no damage at all. So mess around, start searching, take a look at what's available, and I guarantee you will find something that will suit your needs. If you're beginning Sanctum and you're new to it, take honor resistance, learn the event, learn the encounters, learn the rooms, and as you get better and you get faster, take less honor resistance and more movement speed, more dodge roll, and then start going from there. I'm a very, 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 very big fan of dodge roll and movement speed, and these were like some of my favorite relics to use. I actually used dodge roll or movement speed and quantity of relics, and I thought this one was great. And for a long time I had, movement speed and quantity of relics, and for a long time I used these, and these were fantastic. And then I eventually hit my last flame off the final boss and bought my Temporalis, and then we didn't need these anymore. So really spend some time and look at the different combinations, because these can really make or break your Sanctum run, making them go from very difficult to very simple and very quick and easy. But overall, the event in itself is hard. It is a bit of a learning curve. Once you start learning the layouts, all the mobs are in the exact same spots, all the traps are in the exact same spots. And as soon as you start to do it a little bit more and memorize it, I know somebody's already screaming right now because I said memorize it and learn it, you will be having the time of your life. And before you know it, just like me, you'll be buying these awesome little silly, where did I put them? I don't even know where I put them. Where did I put them? Is it in the gemling tab? No, is it in the coal swap tab? I have these. What did I do with them? Don't be like me, man. Keep track of your stuff. There they are. There they are. Before you know it, you'll be searching and buying these. And these are super cheap right now for some odd, strange reason. These are out 2-3 divs each. I guess people are selling them in Exalted Orbs, but if I search them in Divines, where's Divines? Divines. We put minimum of 2. These start at 2. We'll probably buy these at 3. So these are all 3 divs a piece, and they're going to give us an Against the Darkness relic. And the really cool thing about Against the Darkness is some of these are worthless. They're absolutely worthless. Let's just corrupt it. No. All of the uncorrupted ones start at 1 to 2 divs. And some of the more expensive ones, they're definitely not 20-30 mirrors. But some of the more expensive ones, like this one right here, this is easily, I have sold 2 of these already. Yes, I've had 2 of these. These do sell for the 180, 170, 160 price point, depending on how many are readily available. And some of these are really expensive. And the other really cool thing is, if I do the vase run, I can actually just sell these unidentified, which is really cool. So I could buy the vase, and this is like an easy way to make money. I could buy the vase for 2 to 3 Exalt, or 2 to 3 Divines, and then sell these unID'd for 4 to 5. So if I get it for 2, I sell it for 4. If I get it for 3, I sell it for 5. And you can do 3 runs an hour and make 6 divs an hour. I know it's not the best. I know somebody's yelling and screaming, but it's a great way to start for you to start making some currency, where you could just take merchant options, reduce cost of merchants, buy all the boons from Balbala, and run these time loss diamonds and make an absolute killing. Or if you're the gambling type, you could just buy like 50 of these and ID these and hope to hit big. The last major cool thing that I'm going to leave you with is those diamonds, those cool little precious diamonds. When you get them, and if you get bad ones, do not corrupt your bad ones. If you get and run 3 vases, and you get and run and you have 3 bad Against the Darknesses, uncorrupted Against the Darknesses, and you put them in your reforging bench, and you put your 3 jewels here, and you hit reforge, it will give you a brand new one with new modifiers on it. I have done this multiple times, and I have hit huge reforging those Against the Darknesses. And I will say this again, do not corrupt them unless you have a good one that you want to gamble on to try to make more off of. But that's everything. This video ran a little bit longer than I wanted to. If you have questions about the trials, or you get lost, or you get confused, leave a comment down below. More than happy to answer any questions that you have about this. I pretty much exclusively do this content. I think it's a lot better than mapping in the current state of the game, and I think it's the best money in the game right now, and it's some of my favorite content to do. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Come stop by the live stream, join the Discord, ask all the questions that you have. We'll try to get as many answers as we can to you guys. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this video out to you guys. I'm going to go farm those 20 vases. I'm going to make a bunch of divines, and I'm going to reroll to a new character. So until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.